It's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. Today our question comes from our friend Juan, who sent in a pretty long question explaining his situation. He's 44 years old. He trains at an MMA gym as a casual. And they offer a bunch of different classes there, as a lot of MMA gyms do. He likes the Muay Thai classes, except for one thing. The coach is kind of a jerk. He will berate the students, he will make fun of them, he will use foul language, he will verbally abuse them, and so on. He seems to know his stuff. And technically, Juan enjoys the classes, but he doesn't enjoy the verbal abuse that he gets when he goes there. Now, he has no problem with stern instructors. Some of the other instructors, they're very serious, they're very stern. They will, everything must be just so, but they're not verbally abusive. They don't mock the students if they don't know how to do something right off the bat without being instructed to do so. Now, the end of Juan's question reads like this. Is this normal? I've never participated in school sports, and maybe this is part of the culture that I may have not experienced. Am I inadvertently being part of the gentrification of martial arts by choosing not to go to his classes? All right, Juan, the first thing your question made me think of is this. In the sport of mixed martial arts and many other combat sports, there are certain rules, and among those rules are these. No foul language, no unsportsmanlike conduct. Think about that for a minute. A coach should be a paragon of behavior, in my opinion. A coach should lift up his team rather than divide his team. But unfortunately, not every coach is on the same page. So personally, the way you're describing your coach's behavior, no, I'm absolutely not on board with that. When I see students in my classes making fun of each other, I shut that down. And I remind them, we're part of the same team, and a team lifts its members up. We don't tear each other down. Now, it's one thing when students in a group class are doing that to each other, ribbing each other, telling jokes about each other at each other's expense, but it's a whole different thing when the man in charge of the room, the coach, the instructor, the guy everybody looks to as an example of behavior, is the one doing it and setting that precedent, because that sets a very foul precedent for everybody in the room. Imagine for a minute going to a Muay Thai class or an MMA class or a boxing class where the coach is encouraging you to use illegal moves in the ring. Headbutt your opponents, and hope the referee doesn't notice. Base your entire strategy on the false notion that the referee's an idiot. That wouldn't go over well. That would not go over well at all. Imagine for a minute that your coach, instead of teaching you to win fights, taught you something dramatically different. We wouldn't stand for that. Imagine for a moment that instead of teaching you to abide by the rules of sportsmanlike conduct in a sport, your coach is teaching you something polar opposite of that. Why do we tolerate that third one? I think it has a lot to do with movies. We've seen movies where there's a team of good guys and a team of bad guys, and the bad guys are pretty good at fighting, and their coach is always a jerk, yelling at the students, berating them. There's a boxing coach who's made an entire living off of this sort of behavior. And people go to his gym specifically because they expect to be berated. And they're like, this is kind of neat because I signed up for this. Some people seem to enjoy verbal abuse. Does it help you to become a better fighter? I don't believe it does. You know what helps you to become a better fighter? Training to win fights. Error correction is the lowest form of coaching. I made a whole video on this subject, and it's called Error Correction is the Lowest Form of Coaching. Go check it out. It's a video I enjoyed a lot, and a lot of people who watched it enjoyed it a lot. But let me explain a little bit about what I mean by that. Error correction is the lowest form of coaching. It's necessary sometimes if you're doing something blatantly wrong. Obviously, it needs to be corrected. But if your entire learning experience consists of, it's wrong, you're doing this wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong, everything you do is wrong, we don't process that very well. And we don't make progress very well in those situations. So, what is the role of a coach? What is the difference between a coach and an instructor? An instructor instructs, and a coach facilitates success. An instructor teaches you how to do things, and a coach facilitates the process of using those things that you have learned in order to succeed. Do you see the difference? I had a Chinese student try to explain to me the difference between certain Chinese translations of words such as teacher and master and coach. And he said that in Chinese, the phrase 教练, which means coach, or is translated to coach, is a particularly honorific title. That it's not just something you can call yourself, it's something that somebody else has to call you. And I think I can appreciate the reasoning behind that. That if you simply say, hey everybody, I'm a coach, follow me, woohoo. Or screw you, buddy, I'm the coach, listen to me because I'm loud and annoying. Where's the merit in that? However, if you have somebody facilitating your success, doing things that allow you to succeed where you could not have otherwise succeeded, and you call that man coach, then that becomes a title that is well earned. So, for those martial arts instructors who idolize movie drill sergeants, who bark orders and snap and use profanity and try to make people feel bad about their experiences of learning, you might want to rethink that. Does that facilitate their success? Now, different people respond to different things. Some people need you to light a fire under their butt a little bit to get them moving, but in my experience, most people don't. Most people simply need to be shown the way and recognize their own motivation for following that way. The gentrification of martial arts. I don't even know what that means. I suppose you're probably thinking, am I part of the reason why martial arts is being watered down? Why little kids are having black belts and they don't even know how to do their martial arts forms correctly? Why nobody takes karate black belts seriously anymore? Are you part of that problem because you don't put up with the crap of a martial arts instructor barking at you like you're a subhuman? No, man. You're a grown man. You're a middle-aged man. You're my age. Why are you going to put up with some snot-nosed, arrogant prick barking at you like you're not even a human? Because he knows a few things about clinch fighting that you might not. Respect, man, respect. That's a word that gets thrown around lazily in martial arts. Constantly. Lazily and irresponsibly. Martial arts is about respect. We bow to show respect. We say certain words to show respect. Okay. Sure. That's an outward symbol of respect in certain cultures. But what is real respect? It is your actions, how you act toward other people. If you are swearing at people, you're not respecting them. If you are demeaning and belittling people, you are not respecting them. If you're wasting people's time by setting a terrible example that will get you disqualified from the combat sport that you are teaching, that is not respect. That is the polar opposite of respect. It is not unreasonable to expect that your martial arts instructors show an appropriate level of respect for you, the student. That does not mean they need to bend over backwards to accommodate your little fifis, but that means they need to treat you like a human being. They need to treat you like an adult. And make sure you do the same. Thank you for watching. Now get out there and train.